I'll just keep talking about
I don't really like it either. I don't like it either.
You don't?
No.
Well, then I'm gonna wait for you to intervene, and
Okay.
and we'll both just do this and like wait for one of us to be like, nope, not happening.
We'll just take turns.
Because Joan's fine with awkward silence. I think Joan likes anything that'll make me uncomfortable.
No, I like it because it serves a purpose. Sometimes if you interrupt and talk because you're uncomfortable, the person who's just about to say their question that maybe was a little too scared to stops because you're talking again. And so you're actually taking that opportunity away from them. So you got to switch your mindset.
Jordan's going to be like, could we test this out after this call? Could we not do it today? Like, just okay with that?
So when my team does that and I'm like, so what's going on in your business? Like, do you have any good conversations going? You know, we're chatting about things like that. And then you just have crickets. I'm like, so everyone's business is perfect and you all are hitting SC 30 every single month and you're rock stars. And it's like, okay, I know better because I can see.
Well, it's even worse when you can see versus like in a chat thread when it's just the bubbles. And I'm like, yo, I see that you saw. And so when it's face to face, you're like, this is going to be really awkward right now. Like, let's have a real conversation. No, I don't know what time is it. Okay, we'll get started. All right. So I am super excited for Jordan to be on here. So Jordan, just a heads up, I gave you a little bit of 411 is that this is a group of 4 of us leaders with Chelsea, Joan, and Chris and our teams, and these are our rock stars, and this is a 1K club group that we're all shooting to make 1K a month, 1K a week, 1K a day, like whatever your goal is. And right now our main focus in February is just raining diamonds, getting everyone popping to diamonds so then we can get really strategic on income, and then also with Team Cup, those points that come with the Team Cup of hitting diamond. And we all know you just got to get to diamond. So I love that you are today and that they can hear from you and your story, because as soon as you said it to me, I was like, yeah, I'm kind of obsessed with you and we need to hear from you. And I just need you to be raw, real, and just like lay it out there. So I would love to hear a little about you and then just like get right into it. And I'm here for this. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. First off, though, I have to apologize. I literally flew home from work and rinsed off in the shower. I don't even know if you can call it a shower, and came down here. So I am a hot mess express, but I am excited to be here. So yes, my name is Jordan Young. I live in Southern Illinois. I am married to my high school sweetheart. We are celebrating 9 years this year. And just a quick side note, we paid off all of our debt last year with the help of our Beachbody income. $48,000 is what we paid off last year. And so our 10-year anniversary next year, we are planning a really big trip to Alaska. So I am super pumped about it. So anything is possible, you guys. But we have 3 little babies, Madeline, Grant, and Jackson, who's getting ready to turn 2, and he is a fireball right now. But anyways, so yeah, we're high school sweethearts. We live in Southern Illinois. I am a full-time nurse and a full-time Beachbody coach. So I do 12-hour nursing shifts, and then come home to 3 kids, and praise Jesus for my incredible husband who always has them fed, bathed, and their lunches packed for school the next day when I work. I don't know what I would do without him. So my story, a lot of you might be able to relate to it. A lot of you might not. That was one thing when I first started. I thought that I didn't have a story to share. I thought it was just really boring. Like I'm very blessed in the fact that I didn't have like this big thing that happened to me. And that's why I started coaching. I didn't have some traumatic experience that I had to overcome. I was a mom of 2 under 2 who is suffering with postpartum depression and felt like I didn't have any friends, which is huge. If any of you have a story like that, own it, okay? But at that time when I first started to think about coaching, I thought nobody would want to hear what I have to say. I'm just a boring mom, boring nurse. Like, I don't have anything to share. First thing I did wrong right there was discount myself. Okay. So I was following my coach for about a year, her inviting me back and forth, me telling her no, me ghosting her for almost a year. And then finally I just got sick and tired of being sick and tired. You guys have probably heard that a million times, but I really just was. I wanted friends and I wanted to be surrounded. And I was following this girl who also was a nurse and had 2 kids and was having fun and loved her life and was making this extra income. And she was really close to quitting her nursing job so she could stay home with her kids. And I was like, I want that. I want that so bad. But guess what, you guys? She had that boring nurse, mom of 2 story that I had. But I wanted her life. Okay. But she was brave enough to share that. And she shared it and 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 invited me and followed up for an entire year. She did not give up on me, excuse me, for an entire year, when finally I said yes. Okay. So I signed up at first. I signed up on April 1st, thinking that if I could just sign up 3 people a month to get my shakes paid for, that would be bomb. Okay. That's where I started. Literally signed up on April 1st, and she texted me and said, so like, are you wanting to make some money, or like, what do you want to do with this? I said, I mean, it would be cool to get my shakes paid for. And she said, okay, well, I really think you should probably sign up your husband. And then like, if you have a parent that would really support you, or a close friend, whatever, maybe sign them up too. And I was like, okay. So I did it. Didn't ask any questions. I was coachable. My coach said to do it. So I did it. And I went Emerald the very next day after I signed up. And then she said, so like, are you sure you don't want to make a little bit more money with this? I know you relate to me a lot. You know, we both have 2 kids. You're a nurse. Like, maybe you could take 1 extra day off of work a month, you know, just because you're making enough with your coaching income. And I'm like, okay, well, how do I do that? She's like, well, you need to start talking to people, and you probably should post on social media a little bit. Okay, done. Did it. And then before I knew it, it was the end of April, and I was at SC18 as a diamond. And that was it. It was like, game over. This is what I'm doing. Okay. But here is the biggest thing that it's almost one of those, I wish I would have known then what I know now type of deal. Okay. But I wasn't making diamond a hard thing. Like, my coach said, you're going to hit diamond this month. And I'm like, diamond, cool. I don't even know what that is, but it sounds fun. I didn't make it a thing. Like, I feel like we overcomplicate diamond and we make it this huge thing that it's not. Like, don't get me wrong. It is a big deal, and it is incredible. And when you hit diamond, or if you're already diamond, you should be so proud of yourself, because you are changing lives, obviously, because you're adding people to your team. You're helping people get started with the ultimate pack, right? So you definitely should be proud of that. But in the same token, we overcomplicate diamond so often in this business. Guys, diamond is an emerald on each leg and 8 coaches. Like, don't overcomplicate it. All right. So I think that I didn't know that I was doing that, but I just didn't overcomplicate it, and I just did it. And I was sharing on social media. I was showing up every single day for me, because I just started. I was showing up for me. That's why we all start, right? 98% of us. We sign up to do this because we want to see a change in our own lives, whether it be our health and fitness, or whether we sign up for the business. We want to see some type of change in our life. So that's where we need to start. And that's where the foundation needs to come from. You build that strong foundation, and then you move forward from there. You have to share every single day, you guys. Even if it's just a workout clip, share something, do something. Don't go stale, and don't be stagnant in your business, and don't be one of those people that only post once or twice a week, okay? Because when you do that, the girl that's been following you since you started, right there, right on the line, getting ready to sign up with you, she's going to go sign up with Sally, who has the pink hair, who shows up every single day on her social media. I promise you she will. Okay. I have coaches that it's happened to, and it hurts when that happens. Okay. But you have to show up and you have to remember why you started. Don't ever forget where you came from. Don't ever forget the story that brought you to where you are. Don't ever forget what it's like to be a brand new baby coach and stay in phase 1. Okay. So essentially, that is what I did when I started in April of 2017 was I just hit the ground running, and I didn't think about what I was doing, because that's when the fear creeps in and you start overcomplicating things, and oh my gosh, I can't post that. I look bad in that picture, or I need to take a new picture in a different angle, or blah, 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 whatever. No, just post something and show people that you're doing what you're saying you're doing, and you're eating healthy food, and you're drinking your Shakeology, and you're doing your workout because you told them you were following a 9-week program. So follow the program and follow the nutrition program, because that's what we're telling people we're doing. So do it. And then show them that you're doing it. Okay. So, I mean, that is pretty well what I did when I first signed up. And then from there, I just kept going, and I brought on new coaches that wanted to do it with me, and taught them to do the same thing. And your vibe attracts your tribe. So I was attracting people, who were doing the same thing and just posting and talking to all the people. I have people that ask me like what my invites looked like back then. And I mean, I will share with you what I did, but I'm not recommending it because that was a very long time ago and I had no clue what I was doing. But I essentially just started posting for like a week or so before I really dug into inviting people. But when I did start inviting, I was very consistent with it. I will say that. I threw a number out there to myself and I made sure that I invited that many people a day. But I just said to them, hey, I don't know if you've seen that blah, blah, blah post I did recently, but I just became a health and fitness coach and I really don't know what I'm doing, but I would love to have tons of people do it with me. And all I know is that this shake is giving me all of this extra energy and I am loving it. So you want to do it with me, and people they were attracted to that because it was real. And I kind of fell on my sword and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I literally just signed up a week ago, but this is how it's making me feel. And I want you to feel like that too. And people were dying over it. They were loving it. So we went with it.
I love that simplicity. And I feel like it's so interesting because a lot of times, and I'm sure you've been through this too, where people are looking for this like golden winning invite or the golden winning something that you're doing or something that popped off or a viral moment or something that's attracting people to you. And it's literally consistency above all is going to attract people to you because they can rely on you. They trust you. You're there. You're not going, and like even on the bad days, like you said, post something. But on the good days, overpost, like make sure that you have that where someone knows at all times, like, and I think that some people don't even know this with on stories, if your circle isn't like, as soon as you post, your circle bumps to the front of their like storyline. If you're only posting once a day, 2 hours later, your bubble is way, way far away where they're not like, stay in front of it. I just love the simplicity that comes along with this. Guys, think of your questions, drop them in the chat. And I know you said that in the beginning, let's chat in your phase 1 when you were doing your invites, you're getting your nose, you're doing this, that, and the other. Were you using like the tracker and like, okay, I just need to fill in the bubbles. I don't know what I'm doing. I just need to fill in these bubbles and make sure. Were the first 2 people you signed up your controlled accounts? Like talk to me about like how you got to that initial like diamond, here it is. Cause I said diamond isn't something you should be like, I need to hit this. It's like fill up your boot camp. Fill up your boot camp. It's going to fill up your bubbles. You're going to hit diamond. So I'd love to hear a little bit phase 1. And guys, throw your questions in the chat box.
Yeah, that's so true. So my first 2 coaches that I signed up were my husband and my mom, because funny story, my mom actually was already drinking Shakeology as a lead customer. So we actually had to switch her over. But yeah, they were my first 2 coaches. And then I kind of just signed up a bunch of discount coaches after that because obviously I didn't know what I was doing. So I was like, you get a 25% discount. Hey, let's do it. Let's party. So that's what we did. And then I don't even think the tracker was like a thing back then. So my coach told me to do something and I did it. So she told me to make a 100 list. She said, grab a notebook and go on Facebook and just start writing people's names. So she said, try to at least get 100. I said, okay. So a few days later, she said, okay, how does your 100 list look? I said, well, I grabbed a piece, like a legal notepad, and I had 6 pages front and back. I said, I think I made my 100. I had like 600 names or something like that. I did not prejudge anyone. I did not say, oh, she won't want to do it. Oh, she can't afford it. Oh, she's already into fitness. She won't want to join. I didn't do that. If it was a female, sorry dudes, but if it was a female, I wrote her name on that paper. And I started at the top and I just went down the list and I sent invite. I did I can't remember how many I did a day back then, but I did my however many, and then I put it away for the next day. And I started, actually, I don't do it anymore, but I was doing like a note card system actually, and it worked really, really well for me as a new coach. I had note cards that had the name of each person that I messaged that day and then the date at the top. And as soon as I messaged those people, they went in like the day of the month in a little box. And then the next day I would go to the 3rd and I would fill it out for the 3rd. I'd put it back in the 3rd. The 4th would be left open to go back to the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd and do follow-ups. Okay. Once I did the follow-ups, then I moved on to the 5th. I did my names. 6th, did my name. 7th, did my name. 8th was left open again to go back and do follow-ups with the 3 previous days. Okay. So that was kind of like the system, a note card system that I used when I first got started. And it really helped me stay organized as a new coach and kind of just wrap my head around doing invites. Now I use a little bit of Google Streak. I still am a total pen and paper heart kind of girl. So I use a lot of pen and paper. I use the tracker now faithfully. I love the tracker. I teach my new coaches to use the tracker, but I don't think the tracker was a big thing back then. I would have used it if it was, though, side note. And I was just inviting the heck from that list that my coach told me to make. And my social media was growing after that organically, just because I was sharing, and my invite list kept growing as well because of all the things I was doing. And we just went from there. And your story about the bubbles. So I had a guy, because when I first started, I worked at a prison. Actually, I was a nurse at a maximum security prison. So one of the guys that I worked with, he followed me on Instagram at the time, and he goes, everybody else only has like 1 or 2 slides every single day, but you have like 30. And I said, good, then you see me all day long. So it's funny that you said that.
Julie just said, my dream come true. I love prison stories. I'm like here for any stories you have after this call. I'm like, I've gotten sucked down on a couple, like just a side note, but somebody like posted on my feed and they told me that they were a prison wife. And I was like, my husband's like, don't. I'm like, I need to know everything. But so Jennifer asked 2 questions. How is your retention with discount coaches, and what have you found works to retain them? That's the first one.
So I actually, with my Shakeology, I made a video of myself making a shake, and that gets sent to them in their welcome email when they first get started with me. And then, I do some follow-ups with them to see how the shake's going. And always fall on my sword with Shakeology when I have people who say they either don't like it or, you know, it's gritty or all the things, which, side note, if it's gritty, that's because you're not blending it well enough. But I kind of have to fall on my sword because the first 2 weeks that I started drinking Shakeology, I hated it. I gotta be real. Like, I hated it. I didn't like the taste. It was gross, I thought, but I had to find a recipe that I liked because it was so new to me, and my taste buds had to develop a liking to it as well. So those are really big things that I teach people when they're first drinking Shakeology. So I don't even let them get to the point of telling me they don't like it. I just throw it out there right out of the gate. I'm like, listen, like, the taste might throw you a little bit because it is a little different at first until you get used to it. I didn't like it at first, but we will find a recipe for you. So don't give up on it if you don't like it. Okay. We will find something that works for you. And I'm also big on doing signing people up with the trios, the packets at first instead of one. That way they can try different flavors and then pick one versus, you know, if they sign up with strawberry their very first month and hate it and they're like, no, I am not trying vanilla or chocolate because you a liar and it's nasty. You know, so I'm really big on the trio with the packets so they can try different flavors, but just following up with them and helping them and shooting them recipes in their welcome email. And I learned very quickly that, you know, you have to provide them with what they need. And if that means you have to tell them to go to Pinterest and find recipes instead of Fixate, then go to Pinterest instead of Fixate. Like, I want you to drink it, you know, so do whatever you need to do to get it done.
I love that idea. I think and I like how simple you're making all of this. And it's like, this is just what you do. Think about how you want to start. Think about problems you had in the beginning and then solve them before they become problems with your clients. So I really like that. And it's always a gut check for someone who's been in the game for a minute to be like, oh yeah, phase one, let's go back there. And then Jennifer's second question was, what have you learned from something not exactly vibing? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Jennifer. And then what's your coaching onboard process or your sneak peek tips? Like, what are you doing to get new coaches onboarded and started right?
So last year, actually, I simplified again with my coaching onboard. So I did have like this 37-page new coach handbook that I had specially made for my team, and it had all the things in it and blah, blah, blah. And now I send them an email that's literally maybe 2 paragraphs long, and that is it. So that is something I switched last year, and it seemed to do so much better. So I basically tell them, congratulations, you just started the best journey of your life, and that is what I want you to focus on for the first 2 weeks. I want you to do nothing else but focus on doing a workout and drinking a shake and logging it in the bod groups app for 2 weeks. Once you do that for 2 weeks, then we'll talk about coaching. Unless I did have a unicorn last year that was already working out. She was already drinking shakes. She wanted to join for the business side of it. So I did obviously treat her a little bit different, but that's very rare that I get someone like that. So that's how we did it last year, and it seemed to work really well. So then once they complete the 2 weeks, then I will send them a follow-up email that has another video that I created that just has like a few little tips or tricks for a new coach, and I direct them to the team page. So in that second welcome email, it has the video and then a link to our team page. So I don't add them to our team page immediately either. After 2 weeks, they can add themselves to the team page. And then once they're there, our cover photo in the team page actually has those 5 coaching get started right videos from the back office. And I say, go to the team page, watch those 5 videos, and then text me whenever you've finished them and we'll chat. So it's super simple. I use what the back office gives me and we go from there.
I love this because you're slowing me down, because I'm very much so like out the gate, let's make some moves. And so I really like this. This is really good. And I just texted my one girl and I was like, my wheels are spinning right now. I see another question. I can't scroll. Hold on. I'll ask you this one. How did you get new coaches past their first few no's in the first few days of coaching? Ooh, that's a good one, because that's one of those that it's like you tell them to keep going. But I would love to hear what your answer is.
Again, I'm just very straightforward with them, and I say you're going to get more no's than you are yeses. That's just part of it. But the thing is, when people tell you no, it just means not right now. Because think about how you got started. I highly doubt if any of you told your coach yes the very first time they messaged you, right? My coach had to follow up with me for a year. So I don't go into sending invites with the intention of people coming back saying yes to me. I look forward to people telling me no, so then I can combat the no with why they can do this and overcoming the obstacles or the fears or the doubts or whatever it is that they're throwing at me as an excuse as to why they can't do it. So I am like, bring it on, because I'm going to tell you and show you why you can do this. Okay. So I actually invite the no in, and that's what I'm teaching my coaches to do as well. You want people to tell you no, because that means that there's not ready or they're uninformed. They just don't know exactly what you're offering them. So it's our job to teach them what we have. It's our job to teach them about Shakeology and our at-home workouts and how it will benefit their life and how it'll make them feel better and all of these things. You have to show them and teach them what you have to offer in this business for them. So invite the no's.
I love no's. I'm gonna sneak in my own question, because I'm going back to you saying the first 2 weeks is their their journey, which I full-heartedly believe, especially since our shipping takes about that much time.
Yeah.
But with that being said, are you introducing the concept of Emerald? Are you talking about them posting on social media? Or are you simply like, hey, let's get comfortable with bod, your back? Like, what type of thing is your 2 weeks? Just you. What are you sprinkling in or not with coaching?
I personally really want my people to get comfortable posting in the bod group at first, because that's also where their retention is going to come in too. If you get people comfortable with posting sweaty selfies and talking about their nutrition and their Shakeology within the bod group, then even as early as 2 weeks after they start, then they might be comfortable at that point to do it on their social media. If I know that this person already is posting on social media frequently and they're not just one of the highlight reel people like I was, but they're already comfortable with it, then I might just suggest it. Say, if you want to, you can share on your social media and let everybody know what you're doing, just to hold yourself just a little bit more accountable, because you're posting it to the world versus our safe group. But if you don't want to, then that's absolutely fine. But I do want you to post in the bod group for sure.
Wheels spinning. I'm really excited right now. P.S. I am loving all of this. Julie asked, what does your recognition look like for your team? What's something that you love doing to recognize them?
Gift giving is my love language. Like I would be willing to even throw up a challenge to y'all right now. That's how much I like giving gifts. And so challenges are big for me too. Like I love throwing challenges at my girls, because that's what I like and that's what I attract. So I attract people who like to do fun things to win prizes. Like I've told my coach before, I said, you can challenge me to do whatever for a dish towel that has been used, and I will work my butt off for it. Like I promise you that. Okay. So that's what we do a lot in our team. Is I like to give gifts and shout people out and stuff like that. So we do a lot of that. So recognition, like, do you mean just how I recognize them, or like was the gifts like what that was?
Yeah, I think even like if there's, I think that we always find different ways that people are recognizing, and it's always nice to add another thing or try something new out.
Yeah. So I also, last year was a learning year for me, but I also like stepped up my game as a leader too. So recognition is one of our vital behaviors, and I really had to embrace that, because that's not something I was doing well before last year. So I started recognizing people for everything. I even every single week will go in and I will run an active coach report, even for my entire downline. So anyone who is an active coach goes on a Canva and gets shouted out in the team page. And I say, we see you, we appreciate you. Even though you are a discount coach, you're still helping the team by being an active coach in the downline. So thank you so much for that. Please know that you don't go unnoticed and we love you so much, something like that. But I even do like people who have active coach accounts every week. So
that's a good idea to do in your boot camp too. If you
yes,
put that in your boot camp, because then you get the people who have no idea what that even means. They're like, why am I not on the board? It's like, well, Susan, you delayed last week.
Yeah. So
that's good.
The bod groups app is a little bit harder because they kind of took away our tracking ability.
No, but I mean, if you post that tracker, because then customers will be like, wait, I show up in here and it's like, oh yeah, I know this is for the discount coaches and coaches.
Yeah,
that like stupid things like that us females get really amped about not being a part of. Like I would pay to upgrade just so to see my name on board.
That's true. As would I.
Right. That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Learn something new every day.
Guys, come up with other questions. Somebody asked, so do all coaches go into your team page?
Only if they want to. So we started out, we put everyone, coaches and customers, in our team page, because my thought at first was, oh, I'll even put customers in there and maybe they'll get some FOMO, or they'll get curious about, what it is. And that didn't work at all for me. What I found was that it actually was scaring people. So we totally cleared it out. I sent an email and I said, hey, I'm going to revamp our team page and it's just going to be for people who are working the business, because I don't want to overwhelm you guys. If you ever want to be put back in it, then we can chat about coaching. But now I only add people who, like my unicorn that I had last year, obviously I added her ASAP, but I send that link in that second coaching welcome email that says, here's the link to our Facebook team page. You can add yourself. I will not add you. You add yourself to our team page.
Yeah, make them do something first.
Exactly.
Yeah. Did you say how you were attracting new coaches? Are you running sneak peeks?
Sneak peeks. Yes, we do. So I am off every other Wednesday. So we run sneak peeks every other Wednesday. And we switch it up. We don't ever we don't do the exact same thing every time. So we'll do live videos in the page, and then we'll do a Zoom call one night, or something like that. We've done happy hours on Saturday mornings, before we work out, for a Rise and Energize type deal. But that was also something we kind of revamped this year too, was that we combined our free group and our sneak peek group on Facebook. So we now have our monthly free group that we run on Facebook, and it is also where we run our coach sneak peeks. So it is a one-stop shop fit club that we have on Facebook. So they're getting the best of both worlds.
Genius.
It's really fun.
I actually love that, because then you don't have to even get the yes from them and then move them somewhere else. They're just in there. And so if they want to pay attention to it, it's boom, they're it's right there. It's super smart.
Yeah. And I don't make new free groups every month. I just run it in the same group and go from there, because it's, who wants to be in 50,000 groups and try and keep them all straight? My coaches don't even like doing that. So
if you're inviting to one or the other, when you add them in there, do you tell them hey, we also do, do you give them the heads up that that's also what goes down in there?
Yeah, I throw it out there. I say, this is our free group, but you will see that we do, we throw in some coaching information in there too. If you're interested, watch it. If not, whatever.
I love that. It's almost it's Hulu, right? If you don't pay for the subscription, you're going to get the ads.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Dude, spinning.
It's awesome though.
Jordan, what's working for you currently in terms of inviting people? How do you go about your inviting process? I know there's a lot of people who are kind of oh, I used to just go through the A's and the B's and like the whatever and like just invite and like that worked, but it's not maybe working as much now. What's working for you?
I am not a high daily number person, but that's because I work 12-hour nursing shifts and I have 3 kids and a husband and all the things. So I am not going to sit down and invite for a solid hour. I just can't. It's not feasible for me. So you just have to do what works for you. So for me, on the days that I work, I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I come downstairs, and while I'm drinking my Energize, I hop onto Facebook Messenger. And because there actually are people who are awake at 3 a.m. in the morning because there are different time zones. Okay. But I love to utilize Messenger. And if there's a green bubble, that means that they're on and homegirls messaging them. Okay. Or I just told my coaches this last week on a call, and they gave me, no pun intended, but they gave me so much crap about it. I said, why aren't y'all hiding in the bathroom sending invites while you're on the toilet? Like, let's be honest, because I have 3 young kids, and sometimes that's the only alone time I get is when I lock the door to use the bathroom. And you're taking your phone in there anyways. Don't even lie to me and tell me that you're not taking your phone into the bathroom. So take it in there with you and send a couple invites while you're on the toilet. Like, let's be real.
Okay? A lot of coaching businesses built in the bathroom.
For real. It is. Or I do a lot whenever I am giving baths too. We do bath time and I let them play, and I sit on the toilet while, like, not using it obviously, but I sit on the toilet while I'm bathing the kids, and I'll do invites then. But really, so this month, obviously utilizing the promo codes for Team Cup is huge. You still should have a lot of momentum from the 9-week Control Freak launch. If you're not utilizing both of those things, then you're really screwing up. But those 2 things really are what's carrying my invite process right now. And it's a lot of follow-ups, a lot of follow-ups right now with the promo codes, because all of the people who told me in December and January, that they either didn't have the money or didn't have the time, now I'm following up with them saying, well, you didn't have the time or the money back then, but guess what? Now I have a $10 off promo code and blah, 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 So really utilizing the $10 off promo codes is insane this month. So.
And when you jump in to invite people, are you going directly into the invite, or are you like talking to them first? You're doing connections first? Like, how are you working that?
It just kind of depends on the person. Like, if I've been connecting with them on their posts and they've been chatting back with me, then that's a little bit different versus, if it's, I don't honestly do a lot of just hard, cold invites anymore. I used to do a lot of that, but now it's more people who I've been commenting on their posts and we've been interacting, or they'll shoot me a message about something and then we're chit-chatting back and forth. So most of them are just connections. Now, I do more straight invites on Instagram, like through my stories, because I'll go through people who watch my stories and I'll invite them from that. So if there's someone who's been watching me and I throw up, some stories about joining my challenge group and they watch every single one of them, then I'm going to shoot them a message and say, something like, I saw that you watched all of my stories about my Heart and Hustle group this month. Were you interested in more information? That's totally fine if not, but I just didn't want to leave you out, something like that. But those are a little bit more of the direct messages from my story watchers, but most other people are from connections that I'm making outside of direct messages.
Love it. Christy said, how do you organize I didn't mean to take this over, Christina. Christy's like, how do you organize who you're engaging with? Like, do you use Instagram collections? You just said Facebook messages. Are you doing a lot on Facebook? Are you using Instagram as well? How are you organizing kind of who you're connecting with?
So my messaging is about 50-50. My enrollment is a lot of Facebook still. Like, I know there's a lot of coaches that are trying to transition straight into Instagram. I can't do that because I get more people from Facebook still. But messaging wise is still about 50-50. So I use collections on Instagram. That is an amazing tool that we are gifted with.
Mhm.
So I do a lot of collections on Instagram. I was for a while using the it's like collections. I don't know what it's called. I can't remember, but it's very similar on Facebook. You can kind of do the same thing over there, but again, I'm a pen and paper girl. Like, I'm not going to keep track of the people, like if I comment on their post, but if I send them a message, then they go down on my paper. You know, if it's like a connecting message, like, where'd you get those shoes or something like that, I'm not going to write that down, obviously. But if I invite the person or talk to them about joining in any way, shape, or form, then I write them down.
Just so you guys know, in this group, all of us leaders in the background being like, let's do a training on this. Okay. And also on this. And then let's add this. Okay. And the next week we'll do this. So you're giving us like a ton of just
This is like, we should do this. We should do that. We should do this.
a ton of ideas. And again, I love the simplicity. And that's what it is.
I love that you're like bringing me back to like I literally was just having this conversation with Meg earlier today, and I was like, I just want to bring it back to like what I was doing like when I first got started, and this was what is actually working really well for me. And now you're on here and you're like talking about all the shit that I just said worked really well for me, and like keeping it so simple. And like you guys, like it's so simple, right? Like didn't she just make you feel like anyone can do this? Like you could, it's so easy. Yeah. I love it.
Well, I was overcomplicating it for the longest time, you guys. Like, don't get me wrong. Like I told you, I sent a new coach handbook to coaches who signed up an hour prior to receiving this handbook, and it was 37 pages long. Like, nobody's going to look through that. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And go watch this video and go watch that video and excuse me, do all these trainings and do this and do that. Like, I don't have time for that. So why
do I
expect people to do that?
Are you doing get started right calls with people? Are you doing any sort of thing like that? Are you doing individual calls or pod calls, or like how are you working with your new coaches that you just got signed up?
So we did a like a new coach get started right call in January, and then so any new coach in my downline that signs up January, February, in going into March will get that call, and then second quarter we'll do another one. So new coach calls quarterly, and then they just get the recording. And we make it a point to keep it 30 minutes or less.
Time saver.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Oh wait, how do you organize who you're? Do we do that?
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah. Which, yeah, if you guys want to do a training on collections, because I like know how to make them, but I am lazy with making them, and I know
I'm so lazy about it too.
I even forget to even like how you can put people in general or whatever. At one point I have like a funnel of people over there. I'm like, I don't even remember why you were even over here. I'm so bad with it.
I'm like, I'm going to start this one for February, and I'm going to reach out to every single one of them in March and invite them. And then like get to day 2 of February. I'm like, yeah, I added people in there and never touched it again.
They're like, I'll do it next month. I'll figure it out next month. I need at least 4 more people telling me it's working for them for me to like really bite the bullet and do it.
We should do challenges with that. You guys, Jordan's like super scary, so you shouldn't unmute yourself and like ask a question because it's frightening.
I went to prison for 6 years. I'm not afraid to go back. Just
so many questions.
So what is your advice for someone who is shooting for diamond this month that maybe has a little bit of limiting self-beliefs, who, you know, it may seem a little far-fetched? Like, what would you tell them?
Okay, so I actually got to do a live training in the 2021 NLC group yesterday, and it was actually on, like they let me pick my topic, and this kind of was what it was taking your team from believing to knowing. So, you know, you start out with all this belief in yourself, and you're like, yes, I'm going to do it. I can do this. I'm so pumped. Like all of these people are going to join me. And then you get a bunch of no's. and then you get a coach cancellation, and then you get another coach cancellation. You're like, I can't do this. Like, this is not going to work for me. I quit. I'm not coach material. All right. Shut up, first off. Okay. And secondly, like we talked about earlier, you're going to get no's, you're going to get coach cancellations. That's just how it is, but you have to keep pushing forward. Okay. So my favorite book of all time is by Holly Girth. It's a faith-based book by Holly Girth, but it's called You Were Made for a God-Sized Dream. I read that book and it changed my life last year. God put you on this earth for a reason. He put coaching on your plate for a reason. Okay. So you need to embrace it, and you need to own it, and you need to do it, and you need to share whatever you are meant to share through coaching and use that as your platform. And you need to take your business from believing you can do it to knowing you can do it and make it happen.
Let's go.
I am the type of person that if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And that's what I want my team to be filled with too. So last year when we were pushing for 5-star, so I actually attended New Leader Conference last year in 2020, and sitting at New Leader Conference, for the first time since 2017, I lost my diamond rank, and I was sitting at New Leader as an emerald. And I was kicking myself under the table. Like, I was so down on myself, and, you know, I'm like imposter syndrome on an all-time high sitting here, and I shouldn't be here. I don't deserve it. Like, I don't even deserve to be a coach right now, and all the things. But then a fire ignited, you know, watching these other girls talk and these coaches do these trainings. And I went home knowing that I could do this, knowing that my team could be a 5-star elite team. I went home the third week of February and woke up the third week of May going into 5-star qual with my team, because we went from believing to knowing that we could make it happen. You just have to get your team on board with that same knowing factor, not believing, but knowing, because they are two very different things. Okay. And it all boils down to the goals that you set for yourself and for your team. Because I know we talk all the time about shoot for the moon and go big and do all these things, but I'm not going to preach that to my team, because if you set a goal for elite, but you're not willing to work to be an elite team, you're not going to be an elite team. So if you set that goal, you need to be willing to sacrifice some things. You are going to have to be willing to sacrifice some time, because being elite is not easy. Or, you know, if diamond is what you're shooting for by the end of the month, then you really need to think about what it's going to take to be a diamond coach by the end of the month. And if you want it bad enough and you're willing to work for it, then it's going to happen. Like, no, it's going to happen, because it's done. Like, you've spoke it, you know, you need to write it everywhere around you. You need to post it on your mirror, post it on your fridge, put it as a background on your phone, speak life into it every single day. And don't say I will be, say I am. I am a diamond coach. I am a 2-star diamond coach. I am a 5-star elite coach. Whatever it is that you're shooting for, speak life into that, you guys, and then know it's going to happen, and then make it happen. Don't overcomplicate it. Just do it.
Can I just say, does everyone see her energy shift? Where she gets amped and she gets fired up and is borderline aggressive. You know what happens? That's a coach who knows what you guys are capable of, who knows what you can do, and it gets you that tidbit of frustration and a tidbit of, I'm gonna speak this at you till you believe me, because it's one of those that we can ask her a million questions and she just do the things, figure it out and do the things. And you realize we're all learning from her right now, right? Like, all of us have gotten to where we are, every single one of us, on our own route. We've done it our own way. We might have taken things from, like, I'm going to take some things that I'm learning today, apply it immediately and start making moves from there, and throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. But I wanted to point that out because I'm big on energy and like people captivating in your story and things. And you saw that she's been kind of chill and talking. and then got ramped up when it was like the questions of almost doubt, or how do you get someone to think this, or how do you get them? And you, as a leader who's been there, that's like, guess what? I know the difference between decision and then just it's happening. Like it's a pit bull on your goals. There's no way it's not happening. And so you need plan A through Z to make sure that there isn't a fallback plan. There isn't a, well, if it doesn't happen, like, okay, like at what point as females and males are we done being okay with failing? Like Carrie's husband, I'm talking to you too. I'm not excluding you. I see you and I got you. But it's the same thing. But males, that's their gut check. They can't handle being a failure. Like they're going to do what they got to do to be successful in this business. And that's why you see so many OG like males in the business that crushed it. Cause guess what? They weren't going to fail at this business, right? They just do what they have to do. As females, we're okay with letting ourselves down. We're okay with people knowing that we failed. We're okay with this, that, and the other. It's woe is me, and then keep it moving until you get that fire in your belly and you're like, F no. At what point do I get to win? At what point do I get to celebrate me? At what point do I get to do these things? And the time is whenever you make the decision. And so I just wanted to point that out. In that shift of energy, I feed off that and I love that. And I know for some coaches, they take that and they're like, and they sit back a little bit and they're like, well, you don't get it. And that's where instead of listening to all these nuggets you drop, they get defensive. And they're like, well, you don't know what it's like for this. Have you heard her story? Every single one of us can tell you something catastrophic that has happened at some point in this business. And the only thing is we just didn't stop, because this business is all about you. And if you don't quit on you, you're going to be successful, regardless to what parameters that's going to be. So, I don't know if anyone else said anything, but I'm like amped. Like this is one of those calls that annoys me afterwards, because I'm going to be where I'm supposed to be in my bed in 9 minutes. I'm going to want to recreate my new coach training. I'm going to change my flow desk. I want to, like, my new coaches right now and be like, hey, remember I said about Emerald? Like, chill. Let's like fall in love with the process, you know? But still, if you got 2 people that sign them up, because I know that you're going to want to, because it's dumb not to, and you want to take all that volume and all that fun stuff. However, it's okay. Figure out bod tomorrow. No, you were phenomenal. I love this. This was really, really good. And congratulations to you on everything you've been able to achieve. And if no one's tooted your horn today, you're amazing. And what you've done is really inspirational. And I hope your team understands how lucky they are to have someone like you as their leader. You're awesome.
So good. Thank you.
No. So everybody, let's go have some freaking fun. And like she said, okay, so here's my little challenge to all of you guys, which Kelly, I know you got my back. She was like, give me a challenge. I've got this. And some other people are like, here's Christina with a freaking challenge again. Like, this ought to be fun. But I'm challenging you guys. I just went, and I'm going to call some of my people out. I just went in my, I have a thread called The First, which are the crew that counts towards when we're going for Superstar. And it's interesting because with our Superstar run, each time we go through it, it's a new crew of people. It's not always the people who got me to 15, like the original OGs that got me to 15. 4 of them have been replaced. This quarter, 3 to 5 of them are going to be replaced. And it's one of those, that constant evolution, and that's okay, because people's goals shift or people's priorities shift, right? And so you need to find the hungry people. However, I went in there and I was like, all right, believing to knowing, who knows where they're going on the 24th? Tell me everything. This call is fire, right? Now, here's the thing. I'm going to get the people who know that they're going to have it on lock, or are going to do the work that's going to unlock. They're going to be like, I'm in. And then I'll get the people who just sit back and they're the little bubbles in the bottom and the seam by that don't have that belief in them. Well, I have one of 2 choices, and I'm calling myself out, and I'm calling you guys out too. I have one of 2 choices. I get really, really annoyed by the seam pies, and I do. And I can be really frustrated and be like, they're not going to do it. They don't believe in themselves. They don't care about this push. They don't care, blah, blah, blah. Or I can love the shit out of them and remind them, because every single one of us at some point in time needs to know that we're important, and needs to know that we're needed, and needs to know that somebody believes in us. So even when you see that no, even when you see that seam bite, even when you see that ghost, love harder on those people, because those people are probably going through some pretty serious shit that they can't even reply to you. I ghosted you. I don't want to get in the conversation with you on how your shit was like all magical and nice. So challenging you guys, go on the 1K Club page right now. If you're not in 1K Club, message your upline immediately right now. Someone in 1K, start a thread. Like, whoever wants to start a thread and be like, what are you believing to know? What are you doing by the 24th? And put it out in existence, and let's make that shit happen. And if you're not in the 1K club, message your coach, give them the exact date of when you're going to be back in the 1K club. And all you need to do is hit Success Club in order to get in there, right? And then also give them the date of what you're going to achieve on the 24th, because once you get in 1K, magic is going down on the 24th, and you can't not be a part of it. So there's your 2-part challenge, or 3-part, or whatever that ended up being. But this call was fire. I'm freaking amped about this. I am obsessed with you. I think what you're doing is phenomenal. Thank you so much for taking the time. You don't have time. So thank you for taking that time and committing to helping our crew, because this was magical. So I appreciate you so
absolutely.
freaking much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right, guys, let's freaking crush it. Go to bed, Jordan. All right. Bye, guys.
Good luck, guys.